I'm Alex. I'm here with Corey. This is the Cavs Pick and Roll podcast. And Corey, let's get right into it. The trade deadline has passed at 3 p.m. today. We have some trades to talk about. The Cavaliers made a blockbuster trade. Why don't you give us the details?
Before we get into that, Alex,
Oh,
10,
come on.
10
I,
years
I gave you
ago,
that beautiful
I
setup.
know, 10, but this is how we're going to segue into this. 10 years ago, the Cavs went all in, and the hashtag all in 216 was born. Have the Cavs gone all in yet again, Alex, a decade later, and now the hashtag is all in 206? Think that flies? Think that works? Think that'd go viral?
206.
2026.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
No.
I don't think so, Corey.
All right.
That was a good try, though.
Yeah. I thought about it a little bit earlier before we started
No
recording.
doubt,
I was
no
like,
doubt you were
yeah,
correct, though. The Cavs have gone all in. All the chips are on the table for
they
this
are.
season. That is 100%.
I think none of us were quite ready for what the Cavs did this week. We kept hearing the Cavs were aggressive. They were involved, taking calls, receiving calls, being active, which is great to hear, right? Especially for this team who kind of sat still the last couple of years, right? They didn't do anything last trade deadline, rightfully so. The Cavs were cooking. They decided to do nothing on the offseason over the summer, right? Run it back. And this week, Alex, they started to right their wrongs. The thing is, though, Alex, they traded for a player that in this era is on my personal top 5 player list that I never wanted to see or would ever have thought would be in a Cavs uniform.
Yeah,
In James Harden.
correct. Yeah. So they traded Darius Garland and a pick, second round
Yes.
pick
Yes.
for James Harden.
It's been 48 hours, Alex. You were just telling me this has been covered nonstop since this happened. You've been telling me how you kind of been just absorbing and binge listening, watching, whatever. It still feels so surreal until we see him out there on the court. It doesn't sound real, doesn't feel real, but it is. And it's James Harden. And yeah, you traded away who I thought was, or who I was hoping was going to be the next Kyrie, to be honest with you. Like he never was going to be Kyrie, but he had the same quickness. He had the same ball, dribbling capabilities. He had the shot in Darius Garland, right? And it didn't work out, unfortunately. The injuries have been there, and the Cavs decided to move on, which is fine. I think I'm good with that. I think you're good with that. I think we both like DG. I think a lot of fans like DG. But the shocking part was it was for somebody 10 years older.
Mm-hmm.
And a player like James Harden. It feels like it's the first time, Alex, maybe, just maybe, they're not so worried about ego, locker room, or chemistry per se. Because everybody else in that locker room is a good guy for the most part. James Harden is completely different. You know what I mean?
He
He's kind of a
is.
wild card. He's a wild card.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
forced himself out of every situation prior. That's how he got here, no matter what he says, right? So this is, again, the first time in a long time the Cavs are kind of not worried about that ego. They're worried about, can this guy produce? Is this guy available? Which
You're
he is,
you're
right?
bringing up the only scary part of this for me, right?
There's only one,
The age, he's almost 37 years old,
right?
and the fact that yeah, he tends to leave teams pretty quickly.
Might
No,
not be
you're
a
right.
bad
There
thing.
there is another. Yeah. So and then
Money.
oh man,
There's the money thing.
I'm still in shock over this. I know it's
Yeah.
been like a day, but I still
There,
can't believe it. And I don't think I'm gonna believe it until I see him wearing a Cavs jersey out on the court for us. Like
and here
I still can't believe it.
and here's the thing, Alex. When he scores 30 points, that first or second, whatever it is, the fans will go nuts, right? We'll eat it up. We'll gobble it up, right? Because on paper, man, Harden and Mitchell, there isn't a better offensive duo in the NBA than that, right? So on paper, it sounds great. And Harden is averaging what, 25, 26 points, I think I heard this year, which is the most he's averaged in a few years now at the age of 36. I mean, he's cooking this year,
Hmm.
right? So that's great. And he's bigger. than Garland. We know he can score. He's also a pretty good passer. Um, him in a pick and roll with Jared Allen or Evan Mobley, teams aren't stopping that. Donovan Mitchell in a pick and roll with Evan Mobley or Jared Allen, they're not stopping that. James Harden and Donovan Mitchell playing two man, like they're not stopping that, right? And then throw Tyson out there in the mix, just causing havoc, right?
Right.
Because now he is the fourth option out there, right? So on paper, man, it sounds great, and there are some pros to that, right? The biggest one to me being he's available, Alex. DG's not available, and even if he would have came back a week from now after the All-Star break, we don't know what's going to happen 3 weeks down the road, a month down the road, so on and so forth. So that's what I'm trying to hold on to the most right now. Is granted, Harden can stay healthy himself. Um, you know, he should provide a big offensive boost by just being available, and we know he's going to get you, 20 plus points a night.
He's a bigger guard. He's
Yeah,
6'5".
yeah.
He's strong. He plays good defense. He's a combo guard. He'll play the 1-2. He can shoot lights out. He's got that step back jumper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all I can think. I just keep comparing him to Garland. Like, is it a good trade? Is it a good trade? And it's, yeah, Harden's a better player. He's a better player this season than Garland, like you said, and he's available.
And the Cavs have a window, right? So they're going for it. So I'll give the Cavs props for that, for making the decision instead of kind of gambling a bit. They're gambling with this as well, but it feels like the odds might be a little bit more in their favor versus Garland and his feats and the unknown there, right?
Right.
The other thing that I like is that we shouldn't see any more Donovan Mitchell point guard. I've talked about this for 2 years now. I hate Donovan Mitchell point guard because I don't want him bringing up the ball. I want him playing off the ball, catching the ball, and creating, right? He's not someone that's going to run an offense. James Harden can play point guard. He averages 8.5 assists per game. Again, like Mitchell can be waiting for him to come off a pick or in the corner, whatever, go up for the alley oop, whatever. So I love that Mitchell doesn't have to do that. I think another sneaky part about this as well is we talked about in the last episode with the DeAndre Hunter trade, and we're going to get to the Clippers game and all that. But with Schroder here now as well, playing in that backup point guard role, that's a nice rotation between Harden, Schroder, Mitchell, and then throw in whoever else, Sam Merrill, Porter Jr. I mean, the rotation is going to get real interesting here.
It's probably just going
right?
to depend, who the other team has out on the court, what those matchups are. But yeah, I agree.
Correct. But I feel like we also improve there, and I want to stay on Harden for a while. But I do feel like Schroder. I think fans are going to be pleasantly surprised with him, and he had a great debut game in the Clippers game, by the way. So I feel like we somewhat upgraded it in both the starting and the backup role, because Lonzo Ball was supposed to be that backup point guard, right? He got waived. That was another transaction that the Cavs did. He's no longer here. Like Porter Jr., like Proctor, like the young guys running around out there, but Schroeder's going to take those minutes from those guys.
Well, Lonzo didn't get exactly waived.
He got traded. I'm sorry. He did get traded. He got waived
we
by
lost
Utah.
2 second-round picks just to get rid of him. So
that's the crazy thing is
that's what we traded Okoro for. We lost Okoro and we lost 2 second-round picks for a few months of Lonzo Ball, which was terrible.
Yeah, but again, at least the Cavs righted their wrongs. They didn't hold on to him and we'll do something within the summer, right? Because they could have done that, right? And that money would come off the books either way. I'm glad they decided to cut ties now. And now this opens up a spot for Tomlin, for them to convert him, right? And their roster is secure now, right? There'll be some interesting names out there. Maybe they get waived. Cam Thomas was one of them. I don't know if I see the Cavs doing anything else beyond what the roster is, right?
I don't think so. I thought that they might, before the end of the deadline, after dumping Ball's salary, but
Yeah.
and that gave him the roster spot. But no, they filled it with Tomlin, which I'm happy for. Well deserved by Tomlin.
Yep. Yep. So
Another thing with Harden that kind of sticks with me is that 16 seasons, 16 trips to the playoffs, 0 rings. What do you think about that?
yeah, that's one of the biggest arguments that came up, right? Um, Mitchell
I mean,
hasn't got out
does
of
that mean
Mitchell.
he's due?
Exactly. Donovan Mitchell hasn't got out of the second round. Guess what? He's still a top 10 player in the NBA. Like, piss off if you're gonna go. Like, if Donovan Mitchell got traded to your team and someone's gonna say, "Well, he hasn't ever been out of the second round," you're taking Donovan Mitchell all day, right? Again, James Harden, 36, different style player. I don't like his game. You don't like his game. We're gonna watch him shoot 15 free throws in a game. It's gonna be kind of boring, right? Um, but at the end of the day, like you said, maybe he's due, and he doesn't have to be the guy, right? Donovan Mitchell is still the guy on this team, so who knows? Maybe it works out. I was just gonna ask, you know, he's 36, so DG's career is gonna last a lot longer than what Harden's is. But for the Cavs' tenure of James Harden, what does success have to look like for you, in your opinion? Like, to say like that was a good trade. It ended up working out. It ended up being a good trade.
For me to say this trade was a success,
Yes. What's your bar at? I'm curious.
I think it's got to be a championship.
Mm. That's probably what it is for a lot of people, and that's fair. I think that's fair. That's a very high bar. Very
It is
high
a
bar.
very high bar, and I don't know if we still had Garland. The optimism, the aspirations was always a championship,
Right.
but we never got close.
No.
We never got close, and we did it 4 years in a row. We tried with the core four, and we just never got there. And we were repeating the same thing again this year.
Right.
So we had to shake it up, and I think we upgraded. So to me, if we still had Garland this season, I would say, oh, we have to be in the finals. But now I'm saying we threw it all in. The window was really small.
Mm-hmm.
We have Mitchell this season and next season. We have to win now because we don't know if Mitchell's going to resign.
Yeah, no.
We weren't going to go win a ring running it back again. This season was already looking pretty inconsistent and tumulus, right?
And you sent me something today, Alex. So you know what I'm talking about. There's been reports that have come out that they kind of had a come to Jesus moment as a team, if you will, back in January. That, like, we can't keep blaming our inconsistencies on injuries. We're not a good enough team. We need to do something. There's also other reports of Mitchell kind of starting to get into into the ear of Cavs leadership as well. Like, we need to do something here, and even goes back as far as saying that they first started talking about acquiring James Harden six weeks ago, and Mitchell was in the know on that, right? It's funny, all the stuff that comes out after something happens. You don't know what to believe and what not to believe, but I do feel like there is some truth to that. Let's be honest. If the Cavs don't win a finals this year, the smart business move by Donovan Mitchell is to opt out of his contract this year, right? Then you go into next season in panic mode because you don't want to lose him for nothing, but he's also too good of a player to actually trade away. So between this trade deadline and this offseason are the last two chances for the Cavs to really try to bolster their roster and prove to Donovan. Sure, I guess they would have next year's trade deadline as well, but like you said, they have 2 years basically.
Yeah.
So again, I'm glad they decided to finally start to do something, because it would have been a shame if they just would have kept sitting on their hands, and that's ultimately why we don't get there. If we still don't get there, at least we can say they shook things up. They tried to bring somebody else in. It is what it is, right? It's not easy winning an NBA Finals, right?
How many seasons have we sat here saying the core four, They're getting older, they're learning, they're gaining experience, they're reaching their maximum potential. They're going to win a ring. And it's season after season after season.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It didn't happen.
It didn't
And
happen.
they kept getting to the first or second round over and over and over.
Right.
We were just going to do that again this season. We were probably going to be saying the same thing again next season. And now I feel like we're on a totally different timeline.
We are, and it really makes you. Last year was tough because last year the Cavs were so hot, and everybody was so stunned when they got knocked out by the Indiana Pacers. And then we watched them go all the way to the finals and be maybe an injury away from winning the whole damn thing.
It was
So it's
always
easy.
an injury.
So,
Every year for the past
right.
4 seasons, it was injuries.
Right, but my point is, it probably was easy as an organization and even as a fan to think, wait a second, we won 60-something games last year. We were killing it. We just luck of the draw. We just ran into a buzzsaw, the wrong matchup. But if that didn't happen, we would have made it to the final. We would have beat New York. We would have beat whoever, and we would have had a chance, right? So it's easy to run that team back. And this year started how it started, right? But in reality, the Cavs probably should have made some of these moves over the summer, right? Doesn't matter. What's in the past is in the past. Again, the point is the Cavs took a step, in my opinion, as an organization with what they tried to accomplish this week. Because I think they both got better, Alex, and they also put themselves in a better financial situation to continue to try to improve this team. They're not completely under, but now they're only a little bit over that second apron than what they were a week ago. And that gives them options in the offseason.
And this was the season to do it.
Yeah.
Like we said, 2 seasons left of Donovan Mitchell. We have to win. We got to do better. And then the other thing was I lost my train of thought. Oh no.
You were gonna give a eulogy to Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo Ball. Hey,
how happy are you, Alex? Come on.
I'm elated. I'm elated. I'm not happy about losing the two picks.
Yeah.
I know they were second round picks. They weren't worth nothing, but it was something that we didn't need to do. Shouldn't have had to have done, I guess, is what I should say.
Nobody was going to take Lonzo Ball for free or to actually play, so you got to give up something. And I was thinking about it earlier today. I'm like, you know what? The Cavs really have done so with first round picks, right? Like DG is another example of that really not working out. Colin Sexton, another one. Isaac Okoro, another one, right? Mobley hopefully is still a hit, right? But it feels like the Cavs find more value in later round picks or second round picks. But it doesn't matter because you're in a win now mode, right? At some point when this thing does go south and they start fire sailing their pieces, that's when they start trading players for picks. That's when we're going into rebuild mode.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Who cares about a second round pick
East,
3 years from now? Like,
yeah, the East is wide open this season.
Yeah.
I think that's also part of it, right? The timing, just the whole timing of it coming together. The Bucks are doing terrible, even though they still have Giannis, right? Giannis didn't go to New York or Detroit or one of these other rival teams that are hot right now that we would, have a chance of running into another buzzsaw.
Right.
Indiana Pacers, they're playing well, but they're also hurt.
Far out of it. Too far out of
it. They're basically out of it. The East is wide open. You got Detroit, you got New York, you got Celtics, even though the Celtics don't have Tatum. So those are the three, the three big teams that we're going to have to get past.
Right. And outside of the Celtics, nobody else in the East that's a contender did anything. Like you said, nobody got Giannis, nobody got Ja Morant, nobody got Sabonis. Like none of these guys got moved, right? Celtics got a nice player in Vucevic and have a center now, right? But besides that, nobody else in the East did anything, and that's fine. Those teams might feel like they didn't need to do anything. But the Cavs now they're in a position to where nationally, I'm hearing a lot of people say the Cavs are the favorites again, which is crazy because you haven't seen them play a game together yet. But that's what this trade has done. It has made them very relevant again. And we were talking before we started recording, Alex. I feel like the Cavs won the trade deadline. The moves that they made were the most impactful. They got rotational players that are going to help you win now, and they also help their salary situation at the same point, which is going to help you this offseason, next year, etc. They didn't go deeper. They didn't fire sale. They got better. They improved both those situations, which is amazing. Which
Yeah,
is amazing. Nobody
yeah,
else did that.
agree with you 100%. The one thing that I thought that they might do would be to go get another big wing.
Yeah,
An upgrade over Dean Wade or Tomlin, or I think that's the only area where we're kind of lacking is like a big player that can play the 3 and 4.
agreed. And that's probably why Dean Wade didn't get moved. He was my number one candidate going into the season that I thought was going to get moved, and they didn't move him. And I think he's due for a contract now. We'll see what happens with him. Tomlin, nice young player, high energy guy, still very raw. And I'll be honest with you, when we actually get to real life playoff rotations, where you're talking 9 guys, right? Which I hate, by the way. Tomlin's not going to be in that top 9. Tomlin's going to be that 10, 11, situational type things, right? Where you just need a spark, you need somebody to come in for 3 minutes and just cause some chaos out there. Oh, that's fine. He's going to continue to develop. He's in a good spot. I want the Cavs to convert him. I want to see him to continue to grow. He's very fun to watch out there. But I'm with you. I would have liked to see another wing or another big added to the mix. But we'll see what happens now. We'll see if Larry Nance Jr. or someone else like that can actually step up. Dean Wade, what does he do the rest of the season? Can these guys continue to play rotational minutes and actually make an impact? Because Dean Wade's another one of those guys. He's like the longest tenured guy on the Cavs right now. I think I heard like 7 years, 6 years, 7 years. And I like Dean as a player. I feel like he's kind of stalled out a bit as far as his ceiling. But where I want to see him is in the playoffs, and can he help us? Can he help us and make a little bit of an impact? That's what I need out of Dean Wade.
Yeah, I like Dean. I think he's a good player.
Yeah,
I have no qualms with Dean. I think he does a good job. He
yeah,
fills
he
his
works his
role
tail
for
off.
sure.
Yeah. So Alex, the Cavs, man, shipped out some faces, brought in some new faces. Um, and excited to see those pieces come together and how they look on the court. Was there any other trades around the NBA that kind of caught your attention?
Um, George Niang got traded.
He did.
The G Wagon.
He got waived. He got waived though in Memphis.
Yeah. Went to
Ty
Memphis.
Jerome, by the way, killing it in Memphis. Last 3 games.
Oh yeah, he's been lighting it up.
Uh,
Ty Jerome.
it's tough to
What
watch
could
because
have
he's out
been?
there by himself. He is the Ja Morant because Ja Morant is not like caring, playing, whatever, and like there's like nothing going on out there in Memphis. I just feel bad that he's out there just killing it, but with no like real aspirations of that team doing anything. One that stood out to me was Porzingis going out to the Warriors. Kuminga going to Atlanta, which that's a nice piece for Atlanta, right? Atlanta's going to be a good team here. They're a young and upcoming team. I think they're going to be, they're going to make that kind of Detroit type leap here. I think next year they'll be in the mix a little bit. And then Anthony Davis going to the Washington Wizards to pair up with Trae Young was another one that caught my attention.
That'll be an interesting mix.
That will be. I mean, a buddy of mine texted me. He's like, "Holy crap, those two together!" I was like, "It'd be scary if it was like 7, 8 years ago. That I'd be scared." But now it's like, ah,
Is Davis going to be healthy?
is he going to be healthy? Like both guys, like he's past his prime. Trey's at his prime. It depends, I guess, what else Washington can put around him.
Another one that caught my eye was Colin Sexton, young bull, went to the Bulls.
Yes. Went to the Bulls. um, for a hot second. And listen, it was not reality anyways. But when they did announce Ball to Utah, they didn't say what the Cavs got back right away,
Mm-hmm.
right? They just announced what we gave up, and for just a small fraction, I was like, what if it's K Love? What if it's K Love?
Oh, that would have been awesome. I'd love to have Kevin Love back.
That'd have been something
I don't know
special
what
right
his
there.
salary is. I don't know if he's
He's
down
making
to a
like I
vet
think I
min
think
deal yet
yeah,
or
he's like
not.
at like around 4 million. I thought I saw
That would have been
around
fine.
4 million, so not too bad. But then the Cavs would they be even farther away from the getting out of the second apron still?
They're still in the second apron by $4
Well,
million.
I'm saying they would be even deeper in it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there was a lot of trades, Alex, but it was a lot of smaller trades. Not a lot of stuff that's going to move needles, and more importantly, not stuff that's going to move needles with teams we're contending with, which is primarily the three you listed. But even like Philadelphia didn't do anything to get better. Miami didn't do anything to get better. Orlando didn't do anything to get better. Those teams that are also below you, right? But it still comes down to the Cavs clicking, playing good basketball, and this is going to be the time where it really matters. Going, in the second half of the year in the postseason, who cares about the first 30 games or whatever 50 games of the year? What are you going to do the last 30 games here? How are you going to position yourself? And what are you going to do when these games really matter? So that's the only thing, is that those guys got to figure out how to work those three new players in. Atkinson's got to figure out what his rotation looks like now, right? At some point, Strus is going to come back. He was a candidate we thought might get moved. He'll be in the mix. How do you fit all these? How do you fit Maryland? How do you fit all these guys in now, basically? Because you're still guard heavy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's why I thought they would do one more deal and go for a big wing, maybe trade a guard.
Yeah.
Get another $4 million off the books to get under the second apron, because you don't want to keep getting that repeat offender tax, because it just keeps getting worse and worse.
Right. Right. So you had mentioned that you had watched the Altman presser.
I did. I just saw it posted today. Kobe Altman took a bunch of questions about the trade. He danced around a lot of them like he would, but they did ask him a lot of good questions. They asked him, how the trade came to be, if he was concerned about Harden's age, about Harden's history of not winning in the playoffs. And I recommend you watch it, but I'll tell you, you're not going to get the hard hitting answers that you wish Kobe would say. You're going to get the train dance around the question
Sure.
answers.
At least somebody asked him those questions, though.
Yeah,
right.
there were some good questions.
Props to the reporters there
Kobe
that
said,
asked
"Well,
those.
a lot of the answers we're going to keep that internal."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I also watched Darius Garland's arrival at the Clippers. He walked through the locker room and out onto the court, and they had to welcome Darius Garland going around the arena.
That was pretty
And
cool looking. That was cool.
yeah,
looking.
he was all wowed. And I watched Darius's media availability to the Clippers, where they asked him if he knew he was going to be traded and how far in advance did he know. And he said, I knew of the trade. And then they asked him, how much time did you have? And he's like, well, let's just say I knew the trade was coming, or I knew of the trade. He wouldn't say how long
Yeah.
he knew it was coming, but it was
Nobody wants to
kind of sad
say.
to watch. I
Yeah,
feel
probably.
bad for him, and
That's a tough.
I'll miss him.
That's a tough question, because nobody's gonna say that they got blindsided and they basically got like they learned on Twitter
I
that they
really
were
do
traded.
wonder though, like how if he really knew it was. I also saw like a interview with Rich Paul where he was saying that he had told, like, him and Garland said he had told Garland that this was going to be his last season in Cleveland. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's kind of some snaky stuff
Yeah.
that Rich Paul, kind of
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I would really like to know like how it all went down. Like, did Kobe go to him like trade day or the day before the trade and be like, "Hey, we're sending you out," like, and what did Mitchell say? And it's really interesting what might have went on behind the scenes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
They
And our
asked Kobe in his media availability if Mitchell was one of the reasons,
mm-hmm.
and Kobe said that Mitchell knew the trade was happening. He supported the trade, but he didn't. He didn't make it the trade happen. He didn't ask for it to happen.
Right.
But when they approached him about it, he was okay.
Supportive.
He was
Yeah, he was
supportive.
supportive
Yeah.
of it. Yeah, and I saw, and there wasn't a ton of it. There was only like one or two kind of reports that I saw that, like, you know, Mitchell and Garland didn't like playing together, right? And I was curious if more of that kind of negative stuff was going to come out. And then Mitchell came out and said he'll be at my wedding. So it's like, squash that for the most part, right? Um, yeah, we're gonna miss Darius. I mean, I I think LA will be a good spot for him. I hope he gets healthy. I hope he has a great career. I'm glad he's out west somewhere. He's not, gonna kill us. Like, he's not on Detroit right now, and gonna be part of the reason that the Cavs can't, continue to grow and evolve. So I want to see him be successful. He was very easy to root for, right? But it was time. It was just time. The contract that he got, which will, I hate to say it, be deemed as one of the worst contracts in franchise history, probably for a while, only because it's the most expensive contract in Cavs history. And he signed that, what, 2 years ago or whatever, and what's come of it?
Yeah.
A second round exit and a foot injury, right? 2 All-Star appearances, I guess.
Well, I mean, it was injury after injury after injury,
Yeah,
right? It was.
yeah,
They were joking on the radio the other day. I think it was like on NBA radio, the starting lineup. Uh, they made a joke about it's the longest toe injury in NBA history. It just keeps
well,
dragging on. It first started happening in April of last year. It's been almost an entire year that he's had this toe injury, and then it was the other toe, and then
right. And then
before
you have
that
the
it was the
jaw.
broken
It
jaw,
was the
and then
jaw.
and
It's
before that
just,
was the eye socket, and
yeah.
it's always something.
So it's always something. So it's just, again, the Cavs righting their wrongs a bit there. I understand why they gave him that contract, but it's going to be looked at as one of the worst contracts in franchise history, at least in our lifetimes. But rooting for him, hopefully he can continue to gets healthy and has a great career. So Alex, the trade deadline has come and gone. Very exciting. Would argue the Cavs won the trade deadline again. But now it's back to business, right? We have the All-Star game right around the corner. The Cavs do still have some games here. And they've already played one game with some of their new faces. Funny enough, against the Clippers. DG was in the building for that game. Before we talk about that a little bit, it was pretty cool at the end how, all the Cavs players came over to DG, showed him love, doing their handshakes and all that. That video is anywhere and everywhere on social media right now. So that was cool. But the Cavs, as far as in this game, pretty much dismantled the Clippers. Mitchell had some extra pep in his step. Schroder came in, did his thing. Everybody that was dressed played in this game, Alex,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a great team victory on the road, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the Cavs came in with fired up, tons of energy. I think there's a lot of emotion in this game, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
a lot of feelings because of the trade that had just went down. Neither player was there, um, not even on the bench. Yeah, Schroeder played, Keon Ellis played. They played very well. Schroeder was electric. He was so fast. He was pushing the ball up and down the court. He was getting steals. He was making plays. He wasn't hesitating to drive to the hoop and lay it up. He laid it. He went right down the lane and laid it up multiple times. Um, yeah, on the defensive end, you could tell that they were a little like, oh, where am I supposed to stand?
Sure.
Who am I guarding? Trying to figure out how to fit in. Well, even on the offensive end, right? Like they would
Mm-hmm.
look to, is there a guy in the corner? Is there supposed to be a guy in the corner for me to pass it to? You could tell they were a little out of sync, of course, and it'll take a couple weeks. They even asked Schroder about it during a practice, and he said it would probably take them a couple weeks before they would, fit into the system and learn all the plays and really start gelling together on the court. But yeah, they looked great. I couldn't be happier. Keon Ellis really reminds me of Okoro. Oddly enough, he's very defensive minded. He's pesky. He's strong. He takes on the challenge of whatever player they put him on to defend that player. He puts up 4 to 6 shots a game. Yeah, just totally remind me of Okoro.
Yeah, yeah, it's great because him and Tyson. Tyson most nights is going to get matched up with whoever their best guard or wing player is. Like that's his assignment, right? And when Tyson goes out, Ellis can pick up where Tyson left off. If that player's still in, right? Or he's guarding the best guy in the opposing team's second unit or whatever.
He's a
So
Okoro with attitude.
he's a Coro with attitude, right?
With a little bit of edge. Yeah.
With a little bit of edge. And then Schroder, I talked about this on the last episode. He's not going to be shy. He's going to be aggressive again. And him and Thomas Bryant are the same to me, because to me it's like Schroder thinks he's Mitchell, and Bryant thinks he's Mobley, right? Because they just Bryant's the same. Like he does not. If he gets that ball, he's hoisting it.
Dude,
he's hoisting it.
Schroder is international Mitchell.
He is.
I mean, he was the MVP of FIBA and the MVP of the championship game over there.
Yeah.
And he's only one of 6 players to win both of those titles or something like that. I read. Funnily enough, you bring that up, and he thinks he's the lead. He brings some leadership to the team. When he was shooting free throws, he brought the team in and they huddled up and he's told them something, and then it's like, I don't know what's happening here, but he's already taking over. It's like, I hope he's not stepping on anybody's leadership toes, especially when Harden gets there. I wonder how they're all gonna mesh. I think I made this comment to you the other day that we got a lot of Chiefs and instead of a lot of it one Chief and a bunch of Indians.
That's all
we'll
right.
See how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. What I'm most curious about, especially with Harden the most, is he gonna buy in? Is he truly going to buy in?
I think he will. For 100%, not a doubt in my mind. He's at the end of his career. He doesn't have a ring. He knows he might have 2-3 seasons left. He's all in. He needs a ring for,
a contract. He needs
Hall
a contract
of Fame,
too.
his contract.
He needs a contract. So that's why.
And he needs a contract. He needs a ring and he needs a contract. He's going to be balling out.
I hope so. That's what I'm curious to see, though, is how this all comes together. It's going to be fun to watch, man. It really is. And the Cavs' next game, they're on their West Coast trip, Alex. They have a 9:00 game Saturday night against the Sacramento Kings. We're going to see our old buddy DeAndre Hunter suited up for the Kings. I don't know if that'll be his first game or if he's played a game for them or not yet. That'll be Harden's first game for the Cavs. Schroder and Ellis, first game against their former team. A lot of storylines there, right? But that'll be the beginning of the new era with Harden, in it, in this team. And I think everybody's just waiting to see how it looks. And again, if the Cavs start rattling off wins and Harden's going nuts out there, everybody's going to love it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really hope that he embraces it and is serious about trying to come out of the East, because that's what he's kind of said was his motivation, right? Is seeing a real chance to win the East. So,
another angle of this I like is that you kind of mentioned this with him shooting 15 free throws a game, but he draws fouls.
He does.
And the Cavs have always had that problem of the other team shooting a bunch of free throws and the Cavs shot 6 free throws. So he's going to bring that, and I think that's really cool. You said it's going to be fun to watch or not fun to watch. I don't care as long as we're winning basketball games. Another little tidbit, the Starting 5 on Netflix, Season 2. James Harden is one of the NBA players that they follow around. So you get to see all the behind the scenes, his house, his family, the cars he's driving. You get to really see his personality, for better or worse.
Right,
So
right.
if you really want to get to see behind the scenes look at James Harden, Starting Five on Netflix, season 2. Check it out.
There you go. Last thing, Alex, that I can think of from my end, the Cavs now sit alone at the 4 spot in the East. Now that the Cavs have made these trades, where do you think they end up? Where do you think they end up in this season in the seeding?
I don't know if they'll catch up to Detroit. Detroit's got, was a 7-game lead?
Yeah, they're pretty far ahead still.
Yeah, and there's only 30 games left. That's another thing. We only got 30 games to get this, all these pieces working together.
Correct.
I think they can catch up to the Knicks and the Celtics, which, we're only 2.5 games back. So
Yeah,
I very well think we could end up in the 2 seed, which would be great.
that would be great. The Celtics and Knicks are starting to play good basketball as well. Knicks are 8-2 in their last 10. Celtics 7-3. Pistons 7-3. So it's really now about, can the Cavs start to really turn it on and put some pressure and string some wins here in a row. They haven't had many win streaks, and their longest win streak of the year was that 5-game win streak so far. So it'd be nice. I'm not expecting, craziness like last year, Alex, where they win, 17 games in a row, whatever it was. But it'd be nice if they could start to string some win streaks here together. And I'm with you. I think they have a shot to get up to 2, but it's also going to depend on what these other teams do as well. So it'll be an interesting, finish to the season, and I'm excited because before you know it, Alex, the weather's going to get nice again. Playoff basketball is going to be back again, and then we're back into playing meaningful games again, and we'll see if the Cavs have some different luck this year. Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Yeah. Kind of scatterbrained at the minute because all the content I just finished watching about this trade, but and then thinking about the game they just played, another thing that kind of pops in my mind is Schroder asked to be taken out of that game because he was tired. And when he was walking back to the bench, he said, "Man, you guys run, move the ball fast, run fast." When it was kind of Schroder was the one that was really pushing the pace.
Right.
So yeah,
he probably just had that adrenaline
funny,
running. You know how
funny moment. I thought
first game with a new team, you want to show up, you want to ball out, all that stuff.
Adrenaline was pumping. Yeah.
Adrenaline's pumping. You know what I mean? So, but that is funny that he said that.
Yeah, that was something that Kobe said in the his presser.
And my favorite Alex quote of the week. Okay. Alex sends me a text.
Oh no.
Alex sent me a lot of texts this week. Goes, "Fat Kemp all over again." In which
Dude, it's been an emotional couple days.
In which I quickly came back to his defense and said, "Well, Alex, Fat Kemp had the best statistical year of his career while he was wearing a Cavs uniform. I think it was the second year he was here.
Yeah.
So maybe, Alex, we'll see what happens."
That was my initial reaction. My initial reaction was complete shock. I didn't know what to think. And then I was like, oh no, we just traded our young all-star point guard for old
Fat Kemp
ass Harden. Yeah, it's Fat Kemp all over again.
But Fat Shaq, Fat Kemp.
You're right.
Fat
Kemp
Harden
was great for us,
Yeah, he was.
Harden will also be great for us.
Let's hope so. All right, Alex, let's wrap this one up. 2 podcasts in 1 week, but it was fun doing it. Talking Cavs basketball and trades. The Cavs shake things up, and we'll see what happens. But thank you, as always, Cavs fans, for tuning in and listening. And Alex, let them know where they can follow us and connect with us.
Follow us on X at Cavs Pick and Roll. Shoot us an email, cavspickandroll@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr. Watch this episode on YouTube. Wherever you're listening, click like, subscribe, leave us a rating or a review. We'd appreciate it.
All right, Cavs fans, there it is. We will talk to you again soon.
Peace out, Cavs fans.